What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of PrayerCast, where Sam and I, Cameron, are answering your questions about prayer. Today's question is, what if I miss a day of prayer?
Oof. What if you miss a day of prayer? Well, God hates you.
Condemnation.
No, not at all. Oh my goodness. I believe every man of God I've ever met has missed a day of prayer.
A couple.
Yeah, every single they broke a fast, they missed a day of prayer, they did. And so here's the reality, is that condemnation, the enemy is always trying to convince that God will never forgive, or that God is out to get you, or that God is the bad guy, or that God that you can't come back into the relationship because you missed it.
Right.
And here's the beautiful thing about God. And literally, this dude is the chillest and the most loving and kind. And it's his kindness that actually leads us to himself. And so when we miss a day of prayer, guess what? He never left. And so the beautiful thing is, well, I got tomorrow. As well as here's what you do when you miss a day of prayer, and you can feel the condemnation, the shame of you missed a day of prayer. You said you were going to pray. You didn't do the prayer. You did it. In that moment, you take a deep breath. Abba, I thank you right now that you love me, that you saved me, and that I'm a child, and that you've been with me this whole day, and that you know me, and that you've ordered my steps today.
Yeah.
And that, guess what? You do a little 10-second, 20-second realization of who you are. Boom. Yeah. You just prayed.
I think it's like what we said in the last episode of you have to take prayer out of the box.
Yes.
Yes, pick a place, pick a time, show up. Always.
Yeah.
It's a discipline. Be disciplined in it.
Yeah.
Do your best. Fight for that discipline.
Yes.
But at the same time, don't allow condemnation to hold you back.
Right.
I think one of the dangerous things about, because I just know whoever asked this question, it gets asked out of a place of condemnation.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot to pray today. What am I going to do? Right? So that always comes from a place of condemnation. Here's the thing about condemnation is it's always going to distance us from what we know we should be doing. I think that in my own life, whenever I would get worried about praying or not praying and dealing with if I missed a day of prayer or whatever, feeling bad about it never made me pray faster.
Exactly. It never made you feeling bad, feeling condemnation never led you back to prayer or back to whatever. When you missed a day, it actually turned into days.
Thinking I was hated or
disapproved,
not approved of, is never what got me. What always put me back into getting back on the ball, getting back on the train of being disciplined and praying was really realizing how loved I was.
Yeah,
realizing that God really wasn't bothered by the fact that I didn't pray the day before. It was real. Those were the things I was like,
or you didn't pray that morning. Or you did pray.
And that's why prayer starts with our Father.
Yes.
Prayer doesn't start with us or our performance. It starts with who He is. Prayer starts with what He's done to give us access to prayer.
That's it.
It doesn't start from, God, I know that I'm doing really, really good because I've been praying for 2 weeks. And so now the quality of my prayer is going to be so much better. Yeah. I remember... hopefully she won't mind me. Just Michaela, if you're watching this, you can just let me know if it was okay that I shared this or not. Whoa. But no, I'm joking. I know she's going to be okay with this. But she would often tell me about how she would only think about prayer and like that she was doing a good job with prayer if she was just doing it every single day. And then whenever she would miss a day, instead of just jumping right back into prayer, she'd feel condemned and she would just keep on not praying for like another 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. And it's just so interesting because the more that she was set free in her own life from condemnation and shame, the quicker she would go back to the discipline of what the Lord was asking her to do. Pray. And I think that that's a really important thing, because once we start to realize stuff like that, we start to understand what Paul meant whenever he said pray without ceasing. You know, when you move from prayer being in this 45-minute or hour or 20-minute block of time in your schedule to what we talked about in the very first episode, which is prayer is communion, prayer is communication, prayer is being with God. When you move prayer out of the box of this amount of time, this space, this day, and again, not saying that that's a bad thing, but whenever you expand it into the fullness of what it is, it's like, yes, just as much as I want to have scheduled times with my wife to talk with her, or scheduled times with different staff members on here to make sure that we're talking about things that we need to get done, we also want that spontaneous, fun, relational communication happening in our relationships. And I think that if we stop viewing prayer as something that we can feel condemned about if we do or do not do it, and move it just into that relational piece, and it's like, I was talking to God a couple of minutes before we started filming today. Like, I was talking to God on the way to get lunch today. I was talking to God this morning driving into work. I was talking to God while I was in the shower today. I was like, you know, there is no specific space where I can or cannot talk to God, because, you know, like it says in 1 Corinthians, that we're the temples of the living God. He is Emmanuel. He's God with us. We're his dwelling place. He dwells on the inside of us. So I can literally commune with him, communicate with him, pray to him, pray with him at any point of the day. And that's the most important thing for us to realize. The quicker we start to realize things like that, the less we're going to allow that condemnation to come in. Because really, that's what we're answering here. We're answering what should be done with the condemnation we feel when we don't pray, when we don't make it to the time and place, when we don't show up to the time and the place. And the beautiful thing about that is I'm always going to have my time, my place, and I want to show up. But if I don't, I know that I can go throughout the rest of my day communicating with him, talking with him, asking him questions.
And if a free moment comes, I'm gonna step aside. Maybe I got 10 minutes just to, Lord, I'm just gonna be. But you know what's great? I had a moment with the Lord. Man, I remember this is maybe the third year being a pastor or something like that. And it was one of the mornings where you just wake up, you just like, I ain't feeling this. I'm tired. You know, you just get hit.
You're a pastor.
Oh my Lord, how? Yeah, and it's just like, oh man, I ain't feeling it, God. And I just stay in bed, and I'm just like, oh, it's time to get up. Oh man, I'm gonna get up, and I'm get up, but I'm like, I'm feeling the condemnation. I'm feeling you should have prayed. Oh my goodness, today's gonna be rough because you ain't pray. You know, all the religiosity and the condemnation. Oh my goodness, all of that came, and I was just like, man. I get in my car, start driving, and no joke. This is the best way I can explain it. I feel the smile of God fill my car.
Wow.
And I heard his voice. He said, "Oh, Sam, I was watching you while you were asleep. I was there when you were awake. Don't worry, we have the whole day." What are we doing with this? And in that moment, I remember I had tears coming out my eyes. I said, wow. And this is, and every single time that man, we miss a day or we miss a prayer, we do whatever like that. Every single time when I actually turn and say, "Oh man, I missed the day, Lord, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna get back in my rhythm. I'm gonna get back into the very immediate sensation that when I am actually engaging with the Lord, I start to feel the presence of God. I start to feel the kindness of the Lord. I don't feel I don't feel condemnation. I don't feel shame. I don't feel disapproval. I feel his kindness. I feel his love. I feel his want for me. Again, this thing of prayer is all about connection. This has started with, I love what you said. This has started with what he has done so that we can come in and have this thing of relationship with him. Like, that's where it starts. And when we recognize it, we're gonna miss days. We're gonna miss moments. Things are gonna just happen. And he's not freaking out. And he's not saying, I can't believe you missed it. I'm so hurt. I'm the God of the universe, and you chose. He's not. This Joker's secure, man.
His emotions are gonna be okay.
His emotions are pretty good.
Yeah.
And so the invitation is always there.
Yeah.
He's never not having that because his blood has done that.
I think we have to start asking ourselves the questions: what good has condemnation ever done for us?
Ever. Nothing.
Nothing. Condemnation.
It perpetuated sin. It perpetuated distance.
Exactly. And so I think the day that we start to release condemnation. Now, again, this is where, you've got to be careful, because religious people can hear this and ask the question like, okay, so what are you saying? So are you saying that we shouldn't pray, or we should? And again, we can't say it enough. The discipline of prayer is beyond important, but feeling condemned about figuring that discipline out, it's not helpful.
No.
We've got to wake up in the morning, or, if we get halfway through our day and feel bummed out that we slept in an extra hour instead of waking up and having our prayer hour or whatever, or a prayer 20 minutes, whatever people are doing, that we've got to get to that point where we're not getting to the middle of the day and still feeling condemned or whatever. We need to get to whatever portion of the day where we can feel the smile of the Lord. We can feel his approval. And again, realizing I can't wait to teach on this, but I just continue to feel like the Lord showed me that there's a lot of people that think that Jesus taught prayer as, forgive me my sins as we forgive those who sin against us. And then give me this day my daily bread. And then maybe they'll get around to our Father.
Yeah.
But Jesus, it was so intentional. Like I said, Jesus started teaching prayer with our Father for that very intention.
Yeah.
It starts with him. It doesn't start with us. It starts with him. It doesn't start if we've got that. I was visiting Korea one time, and they had like their these charts up on the board up in the lobby of the church, where people were going and checking all the days that they had been in prayer, and it was like it was kind of like a beautiful thing. It was like amazing,
really cool.
But then also there was this sadness that came over my heart, because of. It's not about that. It's it's what you said. It's about connection.
Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing in the Bible that says, "Hey, if you miss a day of prayer, then it's going to take you 1 week to get back into fellowship or communion or whatever." I think it's the same thing as. I know for me, being married, we've all had those times where it's like, today was not the best day of connection, or tomorrow, or whatever, whenever it is. And we have those days where it's like we don't feel really connected.
Yeah.
But continuing to lean into that feeling of not feeling connected is not what helps you to get back to connection.
No.
You can acknowledge it, right? Man, I don't feel connected, or man, I missed that time of prayer, or man, whatever.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it, but then you move from acknowledging it into doing something about it.
Yeah.
And we can do something about missing days of prayer, because again, it's not about us.
It didn't start with you.
Him.
It didn't start with you.
It's like I just don't feel like I'm in love with Jesus. Look,
he loves
him because he loved you first.
Yeah.
And we can pray and connect with him because he came down from heaven and died on a cross, rose again, gave us our salvation. Like it's because of him, it's for him, it's all about him. And the more we realize that thing right there, the easier all of this becomes.
Yeah. It's about recognizing him way before us.
Yeah.
Like, it's recognizing what he's done. Like, that's the fire starter right there.
Yeah. Just remember, he's there with you right now. Don't let condemnation come into your heart or do anything on the inside of you.
Yep.
Just connect with your Father. That's all the time we've got for today. Tune in for our next PrayerCast 2020, and we will continue answering y'all's questions about prayer. Love y'all.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of PrayerCast. Pastor Cameron and Pastor Sam have been taking the month of January to answer various questions about prayer. In case you've missed any of the past PrayerCast episodes, you can head to our YouTube channel to find those. Or maybe you know someone who could benefit from hearing these sessions as well. They are such a great tool to utilize in sending along to someone. Before we end tonight's broadcast, I just want to remind you of a few ways that you can give tonight. You can give anytime by heading to mycl.church/give or by following the text to give instructions on the screen right now. I want to just take a moment and say thank you for your giving. Because of CL's generous giving, we are able to broadcast shows like PrayerCast, partner with local ministries who are doing incredible things in our community, and be a blessing to ministries who have a global impact. Thank you to CL for continuing to be a generous church. We are currently in the middle of our 14-day fast, Pray 22, and I just want to remind you that daily prayer prompts are available every morning on the CL app. Head to the My CL tab and click the Pray 22 banner at the top. Whenever it works in your day, you can join us in a scripture, devotional, reading, prayer, and prompt to write on. There is the option right there in the app to write down your thoughts as well. Well, family, our staff and pastors are praying for you this week, and we want to invite you to join us in the prayer room sometime this week whenever it might fit your schedule. The prayer room is located in the Arc of Building C and is open Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Wednesdays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. We also have corporate prayer happening on Saturday night at 6 p.m. in the same location. We would love to see you out on campus for any of those times. Thanks for joining us in this episode of PrayerCast. We'll see you next time.